All right, let's get this one over with rather quickly. And this is what I thought for the last few years, since I did a deep dive on the YouTube channel of the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, maybe 2 years back. I said I'm not doing the sequels anytime soon. And I didn't even know if I'd be able to do long, deep dives of the sequels because they're so bad for the most part. And after rewatching Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 2 and doing the review on that, which is a terrible movie, but yes, you can have fun with it. I dedicated that video to a dear friend of mine and fellow YouTube creator who passed away last year. We watched that film together and laughed like crazy during a stream, so you can have fun with it, but it's still a terrible movie. This third film was direct to video. I forget who directed it. Hellman is his last name. The only thing I could find that he did after this of any relevance and, importance is he was an executive producer for Reservoir Dogs by Tarantino. That's it. Although, one of the best things about this movie is the cast. Just seeing the familiar faces, and it's weird because there are three actors in this movie that were or would become regular collaborators with David Lynch. We have Richard Beimer, Ben Horn from Twin Peaks, playing Dr. Newberry, the psychiatrist, and he's running these experiments on our main character, Laura. Funny enough, her name is Laura too. She's blind, she has psychic powers, and at the same time, in the 6 years prior to the events of this film, Ricky, from the second film, Billy's younger brother, after his rampage in part two, he was shot and then he had some type of plastic surgery to turn him into Bill Moseley while he was in a coma for the 6 years leading up to this. We have Bill Moseley playing Ricky with a glass dome over his exposed brain. That's another cool thing in this movie. That's pretty inventive. And there seems to be like a psychic link between Ricky in his coma and during these sleep experiments, Laura's character. And she ends up accidentally waking him up and he escapes the hospital and starts killing people. None of the kills are good in this movie. There's no good kills. Most of them are off screen or just basic stabbings, and that's it. But Laura ends up going home for Christmas and she tells Ben Horn that she doesn't want to do this whole sleep experiment anymore. And that's when Ricky starts following her to her grandmother's house. And her brother lives there, which is Eric DeRay, Leo from Twin Peaks. And his girlfriend is played by Laura Harring from Mulholland Drive. So we got a bunch of Lynch people in here. And their performances are nothing great, but it's good seeing them always. So that props this movie up a bit. Same with Bill Moseley. I love that man so much. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is my favorite in that series. Chop Top is one of my favorite characters. In horror, I love Chop Top. And Otis from House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects and so many things that Bill Moseley's done. Even he can't save this movie much. One, because he doesn't really talk. So he is good at, moving and looking like a zombified mental patient formerly known as the Santa Killer because he doesn't dress up like Santa in this movie. Does he? No, he doesn't. I can't even remember. That's how bad it is. But for the majority of the movie, he's not dressed like Santa. He's just walking around with his brain exposed. He does say Laura every now and then and says her name and groans and makes little noises, but that's it. He doesn't speak. So you don't have Mosley's, usual charisma or anything like that to bring some life into this movie. The story sucks too. It's really not a good movie, but the biggest issue is the pacing. What a slow movie, and it's only an hour and a half, but it feels so slow. It just drags on and on and on until you're just wondering when is something going to happen. And then when things do happen, like a kill here and there, it sucks. And this is the end of the whole story of Ricky Caldwell. That's his last name. It's not Chapman like his brother. I think I called him Ricky Chapman in the Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 review. Ricky's last name is Caldwell. Billy's last name is Chapman. But this movie ends his whole story. The next film, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, Initiation, that movie has nothing to do with any of the prior films or the story, whatever story there really is. And instead is directed by Brian Usna and dives into people like spontaneously combusting, and there's a cult that worships bugs. Nothing to do with Christmas that I can recall. And then part 5, The Toy Maker, sucks too. But that is why I decided to do these sequels. Short reviews on here. I'm not wasting time making big videos for these. But that's Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. Better watch out.